Hi everyone, Maxine here, Tink and I Treasures. Welcome back to my studio. Today we're starting a new project, making an infinity journal. So, what you need is some kind of heavy paper. This is 110-pound cardstock that I'm using. You could also use a file folder. That would be good. You could use 12 by 12 double-sided scrapbook paper from a scrapbook pad. That would work. Or single-sided. I guess it doesn't have to be double-sided, as long as the paper is of a heavier weight. It can't be something flimsy like copy paper. So my paper here, I've cut it 6.5 inches tall. That, it doesn't matter. You can make these any size you want. Height and width, you can do any size you want. You just follow the same process. So I want my panels to be 3.5 inches wide. So I'm going to score at 3.5. Okay, so that's the size of my journal. It's 6.5 by 3.5. Okay. Then after the first score, you want to score at 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And from this second score line, we want to score again at 3.5. So 1, 2, 3.5. Okay. And then the next score line is 1/2 inch. Okay. And then I end up with a panel that is about a 3 1/8 here. And that's okay. You know, we can deal with that. So our next section, I want to look at something. I have kind of a prototype that I started. Okay, so our next section our first one is 3.5 and then 1/4 of an inch gusset, 3.5 and then 1/2 inch gusset. And our next one is just thinking. Oh, we're gonna do 3.5. And 1/4 inch. And then from the second score mark, we want to go 1, 2, 3.5. Okay. Let's see, and then the next one is a 1/2 inch. Make sure your score lines go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so we want one more. So this is 3.5. Oops. 3.5 and 1/4. Okay, and then after your last score line, 3.5. Ouch, that hurt. I was holding that badly. Okay, and there we have it. So what I had to do, because this is 11 inch, 11 inches going this way, so I have 3 sections to deal with. Now, if you use a legal size file folder, you only need 2 sections, which is a little easier, but never mind, we can do this. So this is our first page, so we want to fold it on the score lines. Fold the first score line and then the second score line. Ugh. Which is easier said than done sometimes. Okay, put that around there. Watch your page right along here just to make sure that they're squared up. Okay, all right, that's our first page. And it's going to fold in like that. And then this section is going to flip backwards. And this is where the 1/2 inch one is. So that flips backwards. Okay. All right, so this is what we have so far. Okay, now we want to take our second one and that's gonna go like that. Nope. That's gonna go like that, and it's gonna fold backwards like this. So this is where we want to join. Wait a minute, like this. We want to join these two. Let me get the second one folded. Takes a little bit to get this piece together, but you can do it. So these two join here, and you just want to make sure that it ends up being the size that you want it, whether it's 3.5 like mine, or if it's something different. You just want to make sure that when you glue these down, that's what you end up with. So Alright, so we're going in. We are going in. Okay, we need to watch where we're putting our glue. We don't want to get any glue in where the score is, where the gusset is. So run glue along the side. Make sure you get the ends well. Okay, and then we want to match it up to the end here. This end matches up to this end, right? So, easier said than done. Okay, there we go. Now, it has to be pretty precise, otherwise your infinity accordion won't be right. That makes sense. So it does have to be pretty precise what you're doing. So it doesn't quite meet up here on this end, but it meets up flush with this end. Okay, so we're going to continue with folding back, and then we're at the I messed up. Okay, this needs to be a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, between the 1/2 inch, between the 2 1/2 inches, you need 2/4 of an inch. So I messed up there. So this one needs to be a 1/4 of an inch. I don't know. Let me see if I can't fix it. So this needs to be a 1/4 of an inch. So right there. Okay, oops, that bent. Get that one folded. Okay, so now we're at a 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to be okay. I mean, it's going to be covered up, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. Unless it chooses to be a problem. Okay, so there we are. So we have a 1/4 of an inch, a 1/2, a 1/4 of an inch, a 1/4 of an inch, and then this one is a 1/2 of an inch. And how are we going to do that right at... I got some coffee stains on there, but that's okay. It's going to be covered up, so I can believe it. I had some coffee dye, and it chose to leak just as I was going over this paper. Isn't that just the way? Honestly. So, I think line that up and make this a 1/2 inch right here. think that's going to line up. Hope so. So we want the 1/2 inch to be there, and we can glue those two together, and that's going to be perfect. Yay! Yay! Okay, so we're going to glue these two together. Wow. Leave that unplugged for just half a sec and okay. Oops, don't get carried away. Sorry if I'm getting out of frame. I tend to want to pull things close to me. Okay. This one gonna go down right there. Just make sure that the paper is lined up well. Not right on the score line. Okay. All right. Okay, and then the last one. Okay, so, oh, folds this way. Ta-da! Did that come out right? There we go. So you have the width, whatever you decide to do, and the height, again, whatever you decide to do. This can be any size you want. You can make a cute little one if you wanted to. So I have 3.5 inches, which is the size of my panel, and then 1/4 of an inch gusset. And then 3.5 inches and a 1/2 inch gusset, 3.5 inches and then 1/4, 3.5 inches and 1/4, 3.5 inches and 1/2, 3.5 inches and 1/4. So basically you want your two 1/2 inch sections to be on opposite sides, because these is where you're going to put in your journal pages in these 1/2 inch sections. So you want them to be on either side. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you were able to follow along. Takes a little bit to piece something together, but you know, unless you have paper that is quite long, that's what you're going to have to do, is piece it together. Okay, now what we want to do is get our glue bottle situated. Okay. Now what you want to do is decide what you want to cover the spine with. Okay. And it's going to have to be on both sides, inside and outside. What do you want to use to cover the spine? You don't want anything too heavy. I found that out. The first one I did, I used scrapbook paper, and that was a disaster. It's way too heavy. So what I think I'm going to use, oh shoot, oh, for heavenly days. It comes flying out all the time. I am going to use book page. I have this lovely book that I believe is in French that I just adore using for things. So many I need. Let's start with that and work our way through. So first, what I want to do is cut off the ends that doesn't have any text. Oops. Oh, come on. Work with me here. There we go. Make sure I'm getting that in there straight. Okay, now what we want to do is, see, some of our gussets are 1/4 of an inch, some are 1/2 of an inch. And you want enough that they're not going to have too much strain on the ends, if that makes sense. So I'm going to make my strips 1 1/4 inches. That's going to be big enough for the 1/2 inch ones, I believe, and of course more than enough for the 1/4 inch ones. Oops. Of course the last one would all come apart, wouldn't it? So yeah, 1 1/4 inches. Okay. Those are extra. Okay, so I'm going to do the 1/2 inch ones first. Now you have to decide which is your top and which is your bottom before you start this. Right now it could be either or. Okay, so I'm going to get out my glue stick. I think glue stick, as long as it's a good one, should be fine for this. So I'm probably off camera, but I'm just running my glue stick down along here like so. I have that really nice kind that turns a color, so you can actually see where it is. I like that. Of course, it dries clear. There we go. And just want to make sure that it knows where those score lines are. But see, this gives enough of a wrap around so it's going to hold on either side of the score line. Does that make sense? There's enough of a wraparound here. You don't want too close. If the end of your page comes too close to the edge of this wraparound, you're gonna have problems. Guaranteed, you're gonna have problems. Okay. Because it's too much stress, if that makes sense. Oops. Trim that one off. And trim this one off. Because I want it to mold to the score lines, to the bend. Okay. Now let's find the other 1/2 inch. Get out another piece. See what side I want to use. And get some glue on that. I know I don't have to go all the way up to the top. Okay, so put that down. Try and get it as much in the middle as you can, so you have the same amount on either side, more or less. Varnish that down good. Okay. Trim off. I can't get my scissors in there. Why can't I get my scissors in here? There we go. Trim off. Okay, let's come back and show it where the crease is. If you do this when it's still wet, you tend to have a much better luck, I think. Although if you leave it flat and let it dry, that would be okay too. All right, let's do the inside. Where's our, make sure we have it going the right way. Because this is going to show, you know, these are going to show. So let's get some glue on that. Oops. I don't want to glue over another strip. That would be clever, wouldn't it? Okay. Basically, that's what you keep doing. You could just leave it like that and come back later and cut off, you know, your sections. So that's what I'm going to continue to do, and I will meet you when I'm finished. Okay, we are done. So, where did I start? Okay, this is the top. All right. So, okay, so it's easier if you do one side at a time and redo your creases and then do the other side. Okay, so let's see. Have the second one there. It's quite fiddly. And I got some spots here that doesn't have glue. So get in there with a smaller tip, maybe. Oh, here we go. Yes. So anyway, that is how you construct your base for your infinity journal. Just like that. Maybe not just like that, but you know. Make sure you get your glue all the way up in all your areas. Okay, so that is the beginning of the Affinity Journal, and we will meet again to start decorating some of the pages. So until then, guys, take care of you, love each other, and I will see you again. Bye.